yet another episode of the Sportscast. England posted a stunning victory by an innings and 78 runs over Australia to win the Ashes series. And they've done so in very convincing fashion. I have Ayaz with me on the show to discuss this match and much more. Ayaz, what do you have to say? Did that match completely surprise you?
I think the series has surprised me. I mean, now that England have won the series, let it be said that I actually thought Australia would win. So, I've had to eat humble pie. But it's been an absorbing series, but also in a sense a very stunning kind of a series, because the margin of victories in all the matches has been huge. Barring the first one, which was a little bit close fought. But otherwise, remember, Australia won the second by 400 plus runs. And then to come and lose so badly in the third and fourth. So, what is fascinating for me is, where was the inflection point? Where was it that the tables were turned? Because almost everybody, including the English media, the fans and ex-players from England, thought that Australia would win this series quite comfortably.
They were favourites before
They were the favourites. So something has happened. And this is what makes sport absorbing, as you know. So, if somebody beats Rafa Nadal in the second round of Wimbledon, you ask, what happened?
If Australia get bowled out for 60 in 1-1-1 balls, you are definitely asking
in two
what's
matches
wrong.
In succession, first day, first session, they're gone. They've lost the match there. So, I think a couple of things have happened. I mean, this is all in hindsight, vision is 2020. So, Michael Clarke flopped completely as a batsman. So, whatever credentials he has as a captain didn't really show up, because his team never had the score to defend. And I think the threat of Mitchell Johnson, which was so large, looming large over England before the series began, kind of dissipated, because they handled him very well. He was not at his best, barring some spells. So you've got the best batsman in the team, the best bowler or the most feared bowler, both not clicking, and the English players primed to doing their best. I think what helped England, and again this is in hindsight, they had a terrific series against New Zealand. It was so closely before the Ashes. It was so closely fought. They went through some really
we talked about that. It was very good.
So it just primed them up for this contest, and then they got that little advantage in the third test, when I thought Australia were a little callous, having won the second test. They threw their wickets away, and from there on, downhill.
It was a batting collapse, and you don't see something like that from Australia very often. Especially on day one, like we were watching the match here, and we couldn't believe like the Stuart Broad wickets, all of them.
I mean, that is a sensational spell. I don't think he probably believes it himself now. In fact, every day he'll start disbelieving it even more. The only parallel I must draw is from a very famous match in cricket history, which is 1981 Headingley, England versus Australia Ashes Test. It's called the Botham's Test because they turned it around. Following on, they went on to win the match. I think Bob Willis got 8 for 34. But not in one spell. This was one spell, first morning of the match. I haven't seen something like this ever.
And they won the Ashes.
Yes, they won the Ashes. So it's been a bit of a ding-dong battle, because they lost 5-0 to Australia the last time they were there. What this is kind of reinforcing is the fact that in international cricket today, home advantage has become huge.
Everybody's talking about it.
It's become so huge that sometimes you wonder whether the visiting team has a chance at all. So the best performing team overseas has been South Africa. Over a period of time, and lately, surprisingly, Pakistan. Because they went and beat Sri Lanka. They've been doing well in UAE and stuff like that. So I think the other teams need to do some catching up.
Maybe we should have like neutral venues for cricket.
Maybe we need, that's an interesting thought, maybe not a neutral venue, but maybe you need to revive something which the ICC thought of and then discarded, which is the World Test Championship. Where you have the World Cup. Obviously, the logistics need to be worked out. You need to find a window, a time frame but it can be done. And I think it'll be very exciting.
So that was the Ashes, and the Premier League also kicked off this weekend. We had a very unconvincing United win to start off, but then defending champions, they drew 2-2, and then the next day Arsenal went on to lose 2-0. Arsenal, everybody's thinking that they're the team to beat this season. And they go on to lose their first match.
So what happened?
So I think what happened was that the Czech mistake, you don't expect Czech to, make such a huge blunder. And he has come into Arsenal from Chelsea. He's supposed to be the man who's going to save them some 8-10 points over the season. And he makes such a big blunder. First match. And he tweeted about it later saying, how it didn't go to script, the match obviously. But I think once that happened, they kind of lost the plot. They were behind, and then you keep chasing, and well, so I think they're just a little rusty to start off. Wenger complained about fitness, which is surprising because they've played a lot of preseason matches.
Wenger's under a lot of pressure too.
Yeah,
all these managers and coaches are, but Wenger
and Chelsea drawing was a big surprise.
But I think Liverpool just about
they won.
Went past the post
with a very good goal. And Manchester United, they also won 1-0, but did not look convincing at all. They do not look like a perfect team yet. There's no, so to say, the dynamics aren't really flowing. They haven't clicked yet, but it's the first match.
So what are the big matches coming up?
So
now?
Obviously the next weekend we have to watch out for Chelsea versus City.
Yes.
That is going to be very interesting. I think it's just going to set the pace for the Premier League that's going to go on till May. And I think it's early days, but what the first weekends just told us is that all these small teams, like they can compete. The Premier League is the one where you will get surprising results every weekend because.
But always in a league of this sort, you'll find that the bigger teams are under more pressure because weaker teams, so-called, the pressure is not on them.
Yeah, but I think it's just more competitive now.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, like Stoke's got so many good players. A West Ham, 16-year-old Reese Oxford, I thought was the player of the weekend.
Okay.
Amazing. He kept Ozil in control, and he's been an Ozil fan growing up.
Yeah.
Imagine playing against your hero and being able to do such a great job that you win against them. So
that's a great moment in sport where you the hero, somebody who you looked up to all your life, you go and play against him. Now tell me again about football. This Messi headbutt. What happened there?
It's made so much news because you don't expect Messi to lose his cool ever. Messi is always composed,
and he's not a big guy.
Yeah, he's and that's the thing. You've never seen him in like an altercation ever, and so I think it was just a one-off. I think he just lost his cool. He must have.
You don't think he had a telephone conversation with Zidane the previous night? And
no, I don't think so. I don't think Messi's the guy.
You're a Messi fan, so.
Actually, I love Messi and I really admire how he plays. But I think I would fall in the Ronaldo segment.
CR7.
Yes. So good weekend of football, and obviously we'll watch out. Ayaz, now tell me what happened in this 8-team series that's going on, the tri-series that's going on in Chennai between South Africa, India and Australia.
I'm absolutely flummoxed, Nikhila, because I know of a situation where one or two players have fallen ill.
Yeah.
And I remember a test match in Chennai, 1993, India versus England, where Graham Gooch and Mike Gatting loved the prawns or the lobsters so much at the hotel where they were staying that they kept on eating and fell ill.
Yeah.
And Gooch didn't play that match. Gatting did play, and he was spending more time in the loo than on the field.
Yeah.
But 10 South African players, is
that's
amazing.
Quite shocking.
Something has happened there. But a good touch there that they had Manandeep coming in and fielding for.
They had one of their video analysts coming in.
What do you do?
Players are falling sick.
There's an English commentator and writer called Henry Blofeld, who's now must be pushing 70. But in 1964, he had come to India as a strapping young journalist.
Yeah.
And the English team, in those days they used to call it Delhi Belly or the Bombay Belly. People would fall ill all the time. So they didn't have enough players. And in a test match, he went and fielded as a substitute.
Okay.
Henry Blofeld for a brief while.
This clearly happened. Any
it
other
really
instance?
Happened. And Sachin Tendulkar, if I remember correctly, in 1987, when Pakistan was playing the West Zone at Wankhede, and he was amongst the ball boys and,
Yeah, must have been a young lad,
Yeah, but making waves in schools cricket, and he was there, and they needed a substitute fielder, the Pakistan team.
Wow.
So Sachin went in for a while.
So Sachin's played for Pakistan.
In a sense, yes.
Yeah.
But I'm saying 10 players going to hospital must find out what really happened.
Yeah, food poisoning as they're saying, but we hope they're well.
But at least we should know where they've eaten so that...
We avoid that place when you go to Chennai.
Or what they've eaten.
So, it was quite interesting to see that, especially Mani
Yeah,
Singh
very unusual. You don't see such things happening often at the international level.
And, then India won that. That was the first match they won in the series.
Somebody, I tweeted about it and I said, what happened, And they said, probably they ate humble pie. So
that's interesting. So that's India A. And our Indian team is going to Sri Lanka now. They are in Sri Lanka. They
match
played
starts
day after Wednesday.
Tomorrow. Wednesday.
And it's Sangakkara's farewell series.
Yeah, he's playing the first two matches. He's
not
retiring after the second test. So Arjuna Ranatunga, I've just been reading what he said, and he says he should have played the entire series. So there's no shortage of controversy even when it comes to a player like Sangakkara. But quite in contrast to say Michael Clark, who was forced to kind of retire after the dismal results. He's going to go out on a high, whatever, whether he makes runs or doesn't make runs.
Play in his hometown.
Playing his hometown, the series has been planned in a way, or his farewell, and he's obviously an all-time great. I mean, I have no doubt about it. Look at his record, his figures,
stats, amazing stats.
So, and that's where I want to be when he retires. The Test match, I'm going there.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is amazing. So. That is brilliant. So, but it's Sangakkara's farewell series, but it's still a series that India is going to look
absolutely.
To
I don't think the Indians should get or must get swayed by.
I mean, we've not won in the last 4 series. We've been there. Like we've drawn 2.
We don't have a very good record in Sri Lanka.
Yeah, Test
over the last at least 5-10 years. Yeah. So there's a lot of work ahead and Murali Vijay is not playing because he's injured.
Rohit Sharma, a lot of pressure on him already. A lot of
pressure on 2 guys. I think if both play, Rohit will play because both Captain Kohli and Shastri, the team director, have been saying they want Rohit. And then there's Harbhajan Singh, who's a comeback man. Rohit is yet to kind of make his place in the team a certainty. Harbhajan with 400 plus wickets. So contrasting careers, but both under a lot of pressure to retain or stabilize their position in the team.
Do you think spin bowling is because Pakistan went there and the way they won?
Yes.
So I think that's going to be crucial for our spin bowlers. They'll be leading.
I think so. I think it'll be crucial also for the fast bowlers because too much is made only of spin or only of pace bowling. You need combination. You need a good balanced attack. I think that Ishant and Umesh Yadav and Bhuvneshwar Kumar have all 3 bowled well in the one practice match that we've had. So we'll have to wait and see. Remember, Sri Lanka is also in the rebuilding process. Yes. So this is a good time as any.
Similar situation even over there.
Over there. So obviously Sangakkara is the big influence, Angelo Matthews, but it's still a very young team, Sri Lanka.
So that's what we're going to be watching out for this week. The series kicks off on Wednesday. There's also a lot of badminton action as the World Championships have just started and we have 2 Indians in the top 5 for the first time.
Yes.
And tennis is back with the US Open build-up series. So we'll be watching out for all that action. We'll see you next week. Thank you.